And with this particular video, I want to talk about how the beef or the diss of Eminem against Lord Jamar, and even Lord Jamar's response. Let's just deal with this Lord Jamar and Eminem thing. I think this is crucial, very crucial to hip hop. To me, the Machine Gun Kelly versus Eminem don't really mean anything. Machine Gun Kelly is whack and just want clout, just want fame, just want to be the next top culture vulture, the next top white rapper, Marky Mark or Vanilla Ice. They're fighting over the white spot in hip hop. So I wouldn't even deal with that. You know, Machine Gun Kelly, there's no comparison between Machine Gun Kelly and Eminem. Lyrically, stylistically, metaphorically, there's just no comparison. So I wouldn't even mess with that. That's white on white crime. Okay, that's white on white crime. That's none of my business. Culture vulture culture. But what I will deal with is Lord Jamar and Eminem, because I think that's interesting. And what I have to say about that is controversial and almost unstomachable, but unarguably true. That Eminem will definitely smash the shit out of Lord Jamar lyrically. We hate to hear that. Lord Jamar's with Brand Nubian. He's a 5%er. He's one of the gods. Got a lot of respect for him. He's been very vocal on certain social issues, dealing with hip hop, dealing with culture, keeping it real, keeping the game real. But let's just keep it real. Let's keep it real. Eminem will smash the shit out of Lord Jamar. He doesn't have a chance against Eminem. Not a chance. Eminem will destroy Lord Jamar. Lord Jamar knows this. That's why he has not done a rap response. And I pray that he don't. Because instead of Lord Jamar actually perfecting the art, he's sitting up feeding a culture vulture industry of blogging and vlogging about hip hop through Vlad television. Like he's been exploited by Vlad TV. Like he's cooning for Vlad TV. So instead of him perfecting the artist, which where it really matters at the end of the day, your perspective on an art only goes so far. The artist will always define the art at the end of the day. Because people want the art and not your opinion and not your perception on art when it comes to that. Not to say your opinion and perception is not valuable, but the art defines itself as it evolves. The artist and the art evolves. So he's been a critic and given a lot of perspective on hip hop. But it's made that more relevant than it is and has catered more to the industry of criticism and analysis and spectators and editorials. He's contributed more to that than the art itself here recently. So instead of him perfecting the art and perfecting himself as an artist, he sits on Vlad's couch talking shit all day long. While some artists is still perfecting the game, still in the game, still keeping it real, keep developing themselves, keep polishing their skills, and they're focusing on becoming better artists. He's put no energy into that. He's actually just stepped out of the game, if you ask me. He's not the hottest rapper anyway. So how do you have such critical analysis, and how do you become an expert on hip hop and you a subpar artist? You're not even the dopest MC. So how, you know, not to say that your taste and doesn't matter, that you're not a connoisseur through your own taste and your own collection or your own listenings. but you're just not an expert in the game as though you have presented yourself, and it is extremely arrogant. Lord Jamar is extremely arrogant. Extremely arrogant, and you would have to have arrogance to compensate for your lack of skills as an actual hip-hop artist. Not even capitalistic, not even saying you got to sell 1 million records, but even as an underground MC, you're lacking. Lord Jamar is lacking. He blames Eminem for being a culture vulture, but spends most of his time supporting a culture vulture industry, which is social media analysts and editorials and bloggers talking about hip-hop that so happen to be Europeans, happen to be white people, Vlad, and the list goes on. You support the culture vulture industry. Now there's a few white rappers, but how many white culture vulture vloggers and bloggers are there that's getting AdSense off hip hop? You support that industry and you make that seem as though that's valid, that's valuable. Like people's perspective on our art is even valuable. Like there's a space for us to even entertain outsiders' perspective on hip hop. Like you're like a diplomat or an ambassador of hip hop to the culture vulture community or the culture vulture reality. When Eminem talk about that artists need to study hip hop and all that, the new artists need to really study hip hop, I don't even pay any attention to stuff like that. Because we black people are hip hop rhythmically. Hip hop is our indigenous culture in America. Hip hop is our natural state of being. So he may need to study hip hop because he's an outsider. He's outside. He's a foreigner. He is an alien to hip hop. He's an immigrant into hip hop. So he may have to study hip hop, Eminem, but we don't have to. We are hip hop. We are the art in all of its evolutionary stages, period. Whether it is conscious rap or whether it is gangster rap or whatever it has become. It is us. It is who we are. It is our culture. It is our reality. And it's not nobody's perspective or editorial or podcast about our culture and our reality. So I don't pay no attention to Eminem. He needs to study hip hop because it's not him. So while you wasting time dealing with these culture vultures, talking about culture vultures, but talking to culture vultures about culture vultures, you should be perfecting your skills, developing yourself as an artist where it really counts, because many of us who understand the art are not distracted by all this editorial, capitalistic, money-making shit that's now happening on the internet. We're not distracted by that. We can appreciate real art when we see it. Whether it's Uzi Vert, Young Thug, XX, Kodak Black, whoever it is. We can respect the art itself. And we can look at the art. We don't need your perspective or your help or your assistance with our ability to perceive the art. We don't need you standing there while we look at the art and tell us what we're looking at. So while you wasted so much time there giving credence to an unnecessary dimension of the art experience, which is the predominant culture vulture reality, you should have been shining your skills and developing yourself as an artist, as a very seasoned veteran artist. You should have been seasoning your skills if you were true to the game, so that someone like Eminem could not easily wax your ass unarguably. And then you got to say, well, if Eminem's just a good artist, blah blah blah, and it's about talent. You say it's our culture, so we should be better at it than them. If we're just naturally talented, if hip hop is our culture, it comes to us, and we have some monopoly on it. And if it comes to developing your skills in a certain way, then it's no way Eminem should wax your ass. And if it's just all about natural talent and not about skills, then you can't criticize the artists that are out here that just don't have the talent, because it's natural talent, right? But if it's the development of skills, then what makes you good at it is how you have developed a skill and how you have spent time and put discipline into developing that skill. And that's what preserves the art and the art form for those who are true to it and those who really respect it as a craft. So it would be no reason that Eminem should wax that ass. There's no reason that Eminem should smash you, which no one would argue with me on that Eminem would smash the shit out of Lord Jamar. But he's so distracted by culture vultures himself that he's given up the true significant part of the culture, which is the craft. He's given that up. He's forsake that just to be a part of the culture vulture scene and be involved in the culture vulture conversation, which is an outside perspective on hip hop, which is a foreign interpretation on hip hop, which is a witness. They're Jehovah. To see, the rappers are the real gods. These vloggers and bloggers and podcasters are just Jehovah Witnesses. Bottom line. But y'all slipped up and let Eminem look like a god because y'all been so busy on the side being witnesses that you ain't really developed yourself into total godhood as an MC. This is a reality. And that's why it's important of craft over capitalism, because capitalism to me is the determining factor of whether it's culture vulture or keeping it real. It's capitalism, because what Lord Jamar has in common with the culture vultures is he's capitalizing off of hip hop. He's into the capitalistic dimension of hip hop, which is the advertisement and which is the AdSense, which is making money off of it and not developing the craft. That's what the culture vultures and Lord Jamar actually have in common. That it's more making money off of it. Where some people is still in a basement, really developing the art. Some people, no matter how much money they may have, they're still developing the art. They ain't just doing it for money, even though they got money. They really believe in the art. They really are true craftsmen. Lord Jamar is no longer a true craftsman. He's capitalistically exploiting. To me, it's like a black-owned business. They setting up shop in the black community so they can take the money back to themselves too. They not truly in it. They just setting up a table like everybody else. But the true craftsmen ain't just about setting up a table. They true to this shit. They believe in this shit. Hip hop is their religion. Like KRS-One, hip hop is their fucking religion. It's who they are. It defines them. It is truly their culture and not just a capitalistic vantage point. That's like the Shaolin monks, selling the temple, renting out the fucking temple. Shaolin monks making money just off the editorial perspective on the art, and it's no longer participating in the art anymore, really. But I could do volumes and volumes talking about this. But in so many words, Eminem will smash the fuck out of Lord Jamar, and that's just what has to be looked at. That's the reality of it at the end of the day, and that's what the true craftsmen, those that are true to hip hop, are looking at. We're not distracted by all the other shit. We're not distracted by that. The emotions and the feelings and the editorials and the perspectives and making it all complex. We can still see skills. We can still see the ability that the actual individual possesses. And I think Eminem is a rare breed, a rare phenomenon. There are talented Europeans out here, but the masses of who will monopolize the talent effortlessly, will be black people. You got your Justin Timberlakes out here. You got certain individuals out here that are rare, but the masses are going to be black. It's going to be effortless for the black person to dominate and to present it in its true pristine purity. And that pristine purity will speak for itself. KingNoble Black Supremacy. Join my website, www.KingNobleblacksupremacy.com.